Saint 3D Cream Makeup. Why is it the best? Because cream has no water. Cream is so much like skin that it just accentuates your natural beauty. So what's wrong with traditional liquid is that a lot of it's water, let's be honest. So it evaporates off your skin throughout the day, changes color, dries out your skin. And then powders are never fine enough, so they migrate into our fine lines and wrinkles and actually age us. So cream is by far where it's at, so don't be scared. When you get matched to 3 colors, 3D foundation. So you have the dark, scary color. It's not scary because I'm going to tell you exactly where to put it. It's contour, it's accentuating shadows. So you see a little shadow here, a little shadow here. We have shadows right in the nook of our eye to nose crease, and then right around the forehead. And then we have a brightening highlight. That's the lightest color of the 3D foundation. You put that in the center of your face to bring your eyes forward and the center of your face forward, bring light to your face. The third color is the main highlight. That one looks most like our skin tone, and we put that where we don't have product, and then we simply blend it out. So it's one layer, okay? I love that part. So I'm gonna get going. So here's the contour. This is a 3D foundation brush. If you're only gonna get one brush when you try this stuff out, this is the one to get, okay? 3D foundation brush. Pretty easy to remember. So I'm just bouncing into that contour color, that 3D foundation, and I'm gonna go up and under that cheekbone, or you can go off landmarks, and it does not have to be perfect, okay? So top of ear to outer corner of eye is kind of what I like to do. If you don't have a very pronounced cheekbone, so top of ear to outer corner of eye, and they do not have to be perfect. You always want to aim on being higher than lower because you don't want to drag down your face. This is going to lift, 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 okay? So a little bit of cheekbone contour under both cheekbones, and then we're gonna go temple to temple right along that hairline. Now you're gonna notice that I am not precise, and you don't have to be because cream is so forgiving. So that works in our favor too. So temple to temple right along that hairline because our forehead is round, not flat. So we're emphasizing that shadow of our forehead being round. It also shortens our forehead a little if you have a longer forehead. So next part, we're gonna follow that eyebrow line down the nose. This narrows our nose. Look at that. And it actually gives more space for that eye socket, making your eye appear a little bit bigger. And all we're doing is accentuating our own natural features, okay? Nothing crazy about this. You don't have to make anything up or find a bone or whatever. You just work off your own bone structure, okay? I love that. And then I put a little kind of cut off the tip, otherwise it looks a little long. So you just literally follow your eyebrow line down your nose, and then right before the little ball, you put a little line across. And then I like to do this part, but you can skip it. It kind of accentuates your lip pucker. So just right under that lower lip. And then the last part is the bottom of the jaw. And this really chisels out your face, really defines that jaw, differentiates between your face and your neck. And then I brush this back right away because I can't visually see it. So if I can't see it, I'm gonna forget about it. So I just brush that back and down my neck right away. I'm ready for the lightest color of the 3D foundation. That is called your brightening highlight. It is a little confusing when you look at the website and they're all highlights. Those are our foundations, so don't get worried. Illuminator is what we would think of as a highlight, but just remember your brightening highlight, your main highlight, make up your foundation, and then you have a contour color. So I'm going into the brightening highlight, the lightest color of the 3 colors, using that same brush, going in with that coned end again. Now you don't have to wipe your brushes when you go between colors because these brushes were made for cream. So it's amazing. Remember, our palettes are magnetic. So any particular color you like, you just snap it into your magnetic palette. It is completely customized to you. So what I'm doing with the brightening highlight is going in between the brows a little, coming down that nose and on the tip of the nose. And then we're gonna hit, this is called the Cupid's bow. This is also where I'm a little red. I hold a lot of blue color here. So brightening highlight is a great thing to attack any blemishes too. So continuing with the brightening highlight going on the chin. So between the brows, down the nose, Cupid's bow, chin, and then we're gonna get the inner corner of the eye. And remember, a little goes a very long way with this because there is no water in this product, okay? So you don't need much. That's the #1 mistake everyone makes when using the first time. So I'm also gonna drag a little brightening highlight, follow that lower lash line up to lift that eye up. Look at that. Okay, so same thing over here. The tiniest bit goes the longest way. A little bit of that brightening highlight to lighten up and brighten this eyeball now. And then following that lower lash line up to lift that whole eye. Okay, look at that. We are chiseling out our face. We're ready for our main highlight, the last part of the 3D foundation, the one that looks most like our skin tone. And I'm switching to the domed end of the 3D foundation brush. Just gonna dab in there, remember, less is more. And I'm just going to press it in to where I don't have product. Now you can layer this stuff and get a bold, glam look, or you can put the littlest amount on and still get some coverage and glow. So look at, I put that main highlight basically on the lower half of the face. You could drape it up here if you wanted, but I'm good. Now I'm gonna blend light to dark because that's just what I like to do. So blending, we all have our own way, and that's okay. I like to say that stippling, like pressing it in like this, is the best for your skin, especially your under eye delicate area there. But you'll find me swiping, doing little circles. I will stipple a little because I know that's good for my skin. But, you know, sometimes we're in a hurry and you just gotta blend it out to get things done. Now, speaking of that, once you get the hang of this, which it usually takes 2 to 3 times, to knock this out in 5 minutes or less. So I blended the light, look at that. I have coverage, glow, and now I'm gonna blend the dark. So I'm gonna push this yummy contour color that we're not scared of anymore back into the hair. Sorry, I got a lot of flyaways, a little bit of damage from bleaching. You know how that goes. So pushing that back, and then I'm gonna buff out these nose lines. And when I say buff, I just mean kind of run my brush over it. So I want it to be there and stay there, but I don't wanna see it when I turn to the side. Okay, and then I'm gonna lift up and back with the contour, because you always wanna lift, you never want to drag down a cheekbone. Just keep that in mind. And you can always clean anything up super easy with this cream. Okay, so same thing over here, up and back. There's nothing simpler, I promise you, or I would have never jumped aboard. Okay, so we're done with 3D foundation, okay? That's your 3 colors to make up your foundation. I have dimension, I have coverage, and a little bit of glow that I may not have had when I woke up this morning. So let's pick a lip and cheek. I'm gonna do Pop. She's like my favorite red that we have. We have beautiful subtle tones. Summer Love's one, Desert Sunset's another. I love Carousel. We have great colors to choose from. So you choose a couple of your faves. So they double as lip and cheeks. So I'm just gonna use my finger to put a little, I shouldn't talk because then I go out of the lines. But this is Pop. She's like the best red on the planet. And now I'm gonna use the same brush, the 3D foundation brush, going in with that domed end into pop. And remember, high pigment, don't need much, okay? And I like a fuller, whoopsies, a fuller cheek. So I'm gonna put it right on the apple of my cheek, where if you want to narrow your face, then you want to put it further back. Now this is exactly what I'm talking about when I say high pigment. You need just a dab. Like, I feel like all of my lip and cheeks have lasted me just about 2 years. So keep that in mind when you're digging into your color, just like I really dug in there. But I appreciate a nice cheek. So this is pop on my cheeks and on my lips. And I always like to put a little bit of blush on my nose. Isn't she good? She's such a good color. Okay, so that's your 3D foundation, your 3 colors, your lip and cheek that you choose, a brush, a palette for $111. So that's a perfect place to start. I always recommend grabbing a larger palette so you have room to grow. One thing that's wonderful about this is having it all in one spot. So just get a bigger palette, I'm just telling you, because then when you add a lip and cheek or a bronzer, it's still all in one spot. Speaking of bronzers, I wear them all year round. I'm gonna apply a little bronzer with this 3D foundation brush. This particular one's Bella. She's pretty universal for all skin tones. If you want help picking out a bronzer, I would love, love, love to help you. So I just kind of dust it where I get sun-kissed. So it's the tops of my cheeks for me, and the top of my forehead. And then I do put a little bit on my nose too. And then if you ever have the floating head issue in pictures and stuff, just drag a little bronzer down your neck. It'll solve the problem. Okay, so let's see. We did 3D foundation. I did a little Bella bronzer. Let's add some eyeshadows just for fun. So all of our eyeshadows are $14. They just pop right into your magnetic palette. Most of our creams, including our 3D foundation and bronzers, are $16. So it's super affordable, and you can actually have a few more colors and make it kind of fun and have options. So I'm gonna go into Oak. This is one of my favorite neutral browns, and I'm using the eyeshadow brush that we have, and I'm just gonna circle in there. And then I'm gonna window washer Oak just into the crease. So nothing crazy. I'm gonna do a 2-color eyeshadow look. And what eyeshadow does is it just contours our eye. Look at that. The tiniest bit of Oak in the crease. And I kind of concentrate it to that outer corner too. She's the best everyday neutral. So that's Oak. And you can obviously deepen it too. Let's just do a little bit more. Why not? And I put a little under my lash line, and I don't feel the need to wear any eyeliner because I feel my shadow just does it for me. Okay. Sorry, a little guy there. Okay, so there is Oak in the crease, and then we're gonna go with, let's go with Blondie. She's super fun. And I'm gonna use my pinky to put Blondie on. So I'm just gonna dip in there, and I'm gonna put her on my inner corner and kind of drag her mid-lid. And look at that 2-color look. Took me 0 time, and it's super fun. So a little Blondie on the inner corner, Oak in the outer corner, same thing over here. So don't sleep on these shadows. I honestly have never found better eyeshadows, and our tins are bigger than normal size. So there is Oak and Blondie on my eyes. I did Pop on my lip and cheek, and I did bronzer, Bella bronzer for my bronzer. Okay, let's add illuminator. Let's just get it all out there, right? Illuminators are supposed to be put on the tops of bony prominences. So this one's called Starlit. I'll swatch her on my wrist here. So she's got kind of a pinky undertone. She's super pretty. So I like to put them, I put a little bit on my nose. I'm gonna use a brush because I'm just better with brushes. A little bit on my nose, and then I like to put a little on this inner corner because it totally will reflect light. So some over here too. And then I like to brush it on the top of my cheekbone. So let's see if I can. I'm gonna use the eyeshadow brush that I just used and just kind of, you'll see it though. Look at that. So that's Starlit. She's kind of got a pink undertone tint, but she is like one of the most beautiful colors. Our powder illuminators are more powerful, more glam, and our creams are more subtle, so just keep that in mind. Okay, last but not least, I love a Vanilla Dust finisher. If you like to mattify your whole look, this is great to have. It's a finely packed translucent, so it works on all skin tones. I'll show you where I like to put it. So I'm gonna use the Perfector to apply it. Perfectors are super nice to have when starting with cream for the first time because you can roll it over your finished product and it's gonna pick up anything that hasn't settled into your skin. So I always say to grab a Perfector. They're way cheaper than a beauty blender and they last 3 months. So I like to use it for my Vanilla Dust setting powder. So I'm gonna go in with that coned end and I'm gonna kind of press right underneath my eye. I feel like it kind of blurs fine lines and wrinkles. So I like to put it there. I also like to put it kind of mid-face. So around my nose, see how it just mattified that? And then I like to put it around my mouth. Otherwise, I like the dewiness here, here, inner eye. I think it's kind of like a youthful glow. So that's what I got. This is Saint, you guys, all in one compact. Everything I put on my face is housed in this little tiny guy. And I used the 3D foundation brush and the Perfector sponge. I also did a little eyeshadow look with our eyeshadow brush. She's 20 bucks. If you have one at home, use it. But if you're in need of a new brush, this guy does all the work. So I'll show you everything in this is a palette 12. This is the one I recommend getting. So I have my 3D foundation down here, contour, brightening highlight, main highlight. I have 2 different bronzers because I like to have options. And then my Vanilla Dust setting powder. And then on the lower level, I have 2 lip and cheeks. This one's Plum. This one's the one I used, Pop. And then I have my Illuminator Starlit. You can also use these as eyeshadows. And then I have 6 eyeshadows to choose from. Palette 12, Saint 3D.